No, I don't know him well enough to know anything about him.
Are you that way?
Man, if you say anything about my shirt, I know you're a boxer, Adam, but we're going at it.
What is it with comedians?
I don't know. I think maybe I was that way more, but over the years, like when I first started doing roasts, even like informally, I was pretty scared of shit people might say. Maybe because you get just insecure. Like, you know they're going to hit something that's going to make you think, fuck, I suck on there.
Right.
And then over the years, you just get a thicker and thicker skin. I don't know. There definitely are a lot of comics that can't take jokes about themselves. They really take themselves very seriously. And also when they're off stage, like, they could be the silliest, goofballiest. Like, it could be the guy that's like, his whole hook is to be the fat fucking slob in the monkey suit. That's my hook, but then like off stage, he's got to be a fucking serious thinker. And any question about his, brilliance is like the most offensive thing in the world. I don't know that had anything to do with Cheech. Maybe he's just, I don't know. I mean, Chong is such a fucking chilled out guy and such a great guy, and they didn't get along, so it makes me think, I don't know.
We're doing the math.
Yeah, it's hard to imagine. Yeah, it's hard to imagine how you could not get along with Tommy Chong.
Chong is one of the nicest. I mean, he literally embodies his character.
Yeah.
Like, he's just a fucking laid back stoner who wants to make his water pipes and be left alone. And it's so sad that guy went to jail for like a year.
Oh, incredible.
By the way, for fucking selling bongs over the internet. Like, what the
Yeah,
fuck?
and he's still happy as shit after the roast. He's like, "Isn't it amazing we could do this, man? This is what we do." Isn't it? Like, still no bitterness. He's been in fucking prison for a year for selling bongs, and he's really, his career, stalled, and he was broke and everything else, and yet he's happy as shit.
First off, if I got a year in prison for some chicken shit crime that was a sort of consensual thing, like, look, people want to smoke pot, I provide an apparatus so that they can achieve their goal of getting high. I don't sell weed.
Right.
I don't distribute drugs. And we're living in a fucking America, and it's 2006, for the love of Christ. I mean, whenever he got busted, maybe 2004 or 5. The point is this. If I got a 1-year prison sentence, they would let me out after 3 weeks because I'd be fucking complaining so much. Like, I would never stop complaining. Like, I just can't believe what country are we living in? What the fuck is going on? Like, eventually, they just hand me my suit back like the Blues Brothers and just go, just get the fuck out of here. We can't stand your belly aching anymore. If it's not, I mean,
if you go, you got to go for something big.
Yeah.
Do it upright.
Well, you do that thing where you hold the gun in front of the guy and you go, ah! But you cap him.
Yeah, you shoot him in the
head.
You
actually shoot him.
Yep.
In which case, you do your time like a man. Like,
But not if your partner walks over, because sometimes this happens. If your partner walks over and takes the gun and just puts it down and goes, get out of here.
Yeah. There used to be...
Get out of here. What?
There used to be that thing, too, in movies where whoever the cop who showed up first... If he just told you to get out of there, it'd be cool. Like if Jeffrey Dahmer was eating somebody and a cop showed up, just like a beat cop showed up, and he went, "Hey man, go on, get out of here." As if the rest of the cops would stop looking for him. All right, let's just move on with the next case.
Nothing to see here.
Nothing to see. Sure, we have 15 mutilated bodies, but you know what? The first guy who showed up,
he got it.
He told him to hit the bricks. There's something funny about the first cop who shows up and gets to tell you to get out of there.
You guys, take a powder. Unless they go, who made you judge, jury, and executioner? That's a line I want to use some point.
I like to use that one, too. Yeah, so Cheech was, I don't know how long he was in the joint. And by the way, not only that, but how much money it cost him to defend himself, but how much we spent.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, take a look at the monitor there.
Not only did we spend, 2,000 law enforcement, I mean, the resources of 2,000 law enforcement.
The investigators' names were, there was 2 investigators, the head investigators, and there was one investigator, his code name was Operation Pipe Dream, and the other one was Operation Headhunter.
So it was estimated that it cost over $12 million
to throw this guy, just wasting tax dollars.
Yeah, well, in the documentary, I mean, I guess they said that they thought that he was singled out for, for special punishment, and that was their defense. But the judges and the prosecutors argued that, and the judges accepted it. The argument was that he was held to a higher standard because he was actively promoting, just by nature of his celebrity. Which is just fucking ridiculous.
Look, obviously, California's bankrupt, and there's $12 million. By the way, we could have built this fucking school with instead of put a comedian in jail for 9 months.
No, the crazy part is it was run out of Pittsburgh.
The business was run out of Pittsburgh.
The investigation.
Oh, the investigation.
But then it was like interstate travel, because he was nailing the bongs. Or, as if, you fucking in Manhattan,
lines.
you can't walk down the street in Manhattan without there's tables set up with glass pipes and bongs everywhere. It's not like, there's some sort of shortage. He wasn't feeding. He was a bong pusher.
The first. The first, that was a nice stoner laugh from the Wheeze.
His face.
If I was in charge, my first order of business would just be, we're not going to spend a dime on chicken shit. Like, the money we spent on prosecuting Tommy Chong and the money we spent on prosecuting Dr. Kevorkian, listen, if you want to smoke some bud, or you're in advanced stages of Lou Gehrig's disease and you want to call it a day and flip the switch on the suicide machine, that's fine. Yeah. We don't need to spend millions of dollars prosecuting doctors and comedians.
Yeah, and think about all the money that's spent, burning marijuana fields and all that shit, all the time, all the efforts, all the helicopters, all the shit that's sent to Colombia.
It's just first order of business, violent criminals.
Yeah.
Second order of business, violent criminals. And if there's any time left over after that, we'll go after guys that are up for tax evasion. But all the fucking drug addicts and all the guys that are selling the drugs or all the guys that are making the apparatus, or especially the weed-related stuff, and then the prostitution or the Dr. Kevorkians of the world, just fuck it.
Oh, yeah. There's, the smaller crime, all the drug shit is ridiculous. But although some of the smaller crimes, like Giuliani came in and like the whole broken window theory, that did change. Because in New York City, when I was growing up, it was fucking ridiculous. Like literally, because the crime rate was so high that you could do anything. Like you could drink beer like through in a fucking hollowed out skull of someone you decapitated, and as long as you weren't like double parked or doing like whatever they chose to be their serious enforcement that week, then they never would hassle you. And then when they started cracking down on people, at first you couldn't even believe it. You're like, what? There's people. They could be pissing on the sidewalk. They'd bust people for that. And they would think, what? That seemed like outrageous. Why can't I piss on the sidewalk? There's so much more shit going on.
Right.
But that fuels the sort of decay of society. So they cracked down on the little things, and it did ultimately make the city a lot better. But the drug laws are fucking absurd. All the libertarian type shit, drug law, drugs, prostitution. I mean, it's absurd the amount of resources that get wasted, and not to mention. Treatment, that the money that gets spent on incarcerating people, and also in how it targets minority communities. Like some fucking kid grows up. They always hear these kids. They always sound like they're public enemy number one, because every kid they arrest, he's got 12 priors.
Right.
Every kid's got 12, but they're priors for fucking assault, meaning he had a fight at his school.
Right.
Or like he was carrying a nickel bag of weed, all the kind of shit that in the suburbs, whatever, you get away with forever. They're not cracking down on fraternity houses and stuff like that, but some fucking kid gets in a one.
Tell that to the Duke lacrosse.
Yeah, no, there's a couple times it happens.
Yeah, no, I listen. I agree, and in this day and age, you just think, at least with pot, for the love of Christ, for pot of all things, that we'd loosen our grip on that.
Some people like to be on pot. They get on pot and they get.
It's a better world.
It's a better world.
It really is. I would actually like somebody to do a study of violent crime in communities that smoke weed.
I'd like somebody to find one person that's committed a violent crime just on weed.
Well, I'll tell you, the only turd in your punch bowl theory is the rap community. Those guys are the only guys I know.
I can't believe that they're just on weed.
No, and they would be worse.
They're sipping gin and juice, sure, but they are the one exception of the one group that's able to fucking get stoned and still pop a cap in someone's ass.
Imagine if they didn't smoke.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Yeah, imagine them without that.
What? Just like they would.
Just
running around with machetes.
They also don't seem to get that fucking cliche munchie vibe thing going. Like you don't really look at you never walk into like a 7-Eleven and there's like a bunch of fucking thugged out dudes with all their bling, like eating fucking sleeves of Oreos.
I got really high. Like when me and Jimmy went to Snoop Dogg's house and on the Man Show, and we just got wasted. I mean, first off. It's like walking into a underground car garage, like a municipal car storage garage in the 70s, and not getting any carbon monoxide. You know what I mean? It's like impossible when there's 30 71 Buick and Oldsmobiles all just running at the same time. You literally walk in Snoop's front door, you get high. But, you know, we figured, well, you know, when in Rome kind of thing. We didn't want to offend the man. There's a cultural thing here. And so we got high, you know. And at a certain point, all I did was just fucking bust up laughing. But Jimmy ate everything that was in Snoop Dogg's refrigerator. And, I mean, he was, you know, literally had tubs of Cool Whip and was using a spatula to spoon it into his mouth. And I was just eating everything that, you know, came in cellophane, you know. Yeah. And at a certain point, Jimmy looked at Snoop Dogg and went, how are you so fucking skinny? Like, how are you so high all of the time and never get the munchies? Yeah. Or is it just some crazy metabolism? Like,
Shaggy was like that on Scooby-Doo.
That's true. He was baked all the time. Yeah, but he ate.
He did seem to eat, but he was skinny as shit.
I guess Shaggy...
I got to tell you, though, I worked on Snoop Dogg, Dog After Dark, and he had a whole mountain of candy all the time. There was a supply of candy.
Well, then that's just metabolism.
No,
like, it's true, because when we went... Later on, when we went to Bishop Don Magic Juan's house, or I should say apartment... First off,
did you see his green caddy out front?
It was like, yeah, well, he has a green. He's the only guy I know. And by the way, the Jews never do this. This is the realm of the black man. There's no Jew that owns a Rolls Royce and lives in an apartment.
Right.
A shitty apartment.
Yeah.
Like a rented shitty apartment, $750 a month. You know, somewhere near. Somewhere near Venice and like Motor. But anyway, he literally has his green and gold limo, Rolls Royce and caddy parked out on the street. He doesn't even have fucking parking in the apartment. But we go up to Bishop Don Magic Juan's apartment, and me and Jimmy open the door and walk through the door, and there's like 8 thugs, like the scariest Crip or Blood thuggy, all smoking out, all playing video games, and they all like turned to us at the same time, like he heard the record scratch, and like 2 of the whitest guys in the world standing. Hi, fellas, how you doing? And it was like it was like out of Animal House, like Otis, my man,
hey fellas, like, who's for some bingo?
And those guys, by the way. Snoop would always send out to like churches. Mm-hmm. Like I know there's this like, hey man, you're not supposed to talk about fried chicken when you're talking about black people. But when we went to Snoop's house, he sent out for like 3 tubs of Kentucky Fried Chicken. And when we went out to Bishop Don Magic Juan's place, he sent out to churches and was getting like the fried catfish.
That's just 2 people. How do you generalize? So far, you're not making a very compelling argument here, Adam.
I know. You work with a black guy who's vegan. I know.
You ever hear Chappelle?
I love when people do that.
Yeah, I know one black guy that doesn't like any of that stuff.
I know one. And that's the one guy.
Yeah, he's actually Filipino, but he's pretty dark. No, Chappelle used to do a great bit about watermelon, like how much he loves watermelon, but or chicken or something, but like he just can't eat it anywhere because just people would look at him. He loves it.
No, it's true. Look.
But who doesn't like chicken and watermelon?
Who doesn't like fucking Popeye's chicken?
It's fucking great.
You know? And I want to say this, too. Like, you know, black guys die younger than white guys. Like, and there's a little bit of a racial thing. Like, hey, man, why are they dying 10 years younger than we are? If we ate like they ate, we would die in our 30s.
Oh, yeah.
So at least they're making it to 61.
If I drink 1 glass of grape soda, I feel pretty shitty for about a week. I mean, can't imagine.
If you ate what Snoop Dogg eats, which is literally just fucking fried catfish and churches and Popeyes and all, and it washes it down with like high C, you would have been dead 4 years ago.